How did you lose your virginity? And at what age? Hey, how are you doing? On today's video we'll be sharing stories on how and when some people did it for the first time. I personally don't lose, but here we go. Story 1. I was 16, dating a 25-year-old. He picked me up on my lunch break from work, Walgreens, my first job. We went back to his house, did it, then he dropped me back at work. Lunch break was 30 minutes. Had to get back on the register and act like everything was normal. Went home and cried. Never really realized how sad this sounded until I started typing it out. Lol. I swing back and forth between thinking it wasn't that big a deal and I was a willing participant, in the way that I kinda just wanted to get it over with, and feeling taken advantage of. The things that happened after are clear to me now to be grooming. I got grounded, so he bought me a phone so I could sneak around my parents and meet with him. He called my school pretending to be my dad to tell them I was sick so I could skip school to be with him. He even filmed us having sex without telling me first. I'm 30 now and it's been so long that I try to just not think about it. I will say the amount of people in our friend group who turned a blind eye was alarming, and I just want anyone reading this to stand up for girls when they're in that position if you ever come across it. Story 2. 18. I went to prom with a friend. I knew she wanted to date me but I wasn't interested. I was so focused on athletics senior year and my full-ride athletic scholarship I didn't want a GF. After prom we went to a resort town where my friend's parents had rented 8 couples from prom of Verbo. There was a hot tub on the back deck and we were all there hanging out doing some drinking. Couple by couple left to go to the bedrooms and it ended up being just me and her left in the hot tub. Out of the blue she stood up, took off her bikini, and sat down in my lap. She pulled my trunks off and rode me in the hot tub. We didn't even kiss. I just remember her tits in my face and she trying to guide me to suck on them but I didn't want to. I feel weird now about it cause I didn't want to have sex with her at all. Story 3. I just turned 14, she just turned 15. She was up for it way more than I was because all of her friends had been dating older guys and lost their virginity already. Anyway, we basically did it in her bedroom, practically fully clothed, my pants down to my knees. She only took her jeans off but wanted to keep her knickers on so she slipped them to one side. She had everything else on including socks. I put a condom on. For the first time, it felt like I'd just slipped a greasy shopping bag around my dong. I had a bit more growing to go. Missionary position, obviously. She was tense and unrelaxed which made me tense and unrelaxed. I banged her for about 5 minutes before I came. I was somewhat happy it was over it, I'm honest. She seemed more bothered about the condom breaking which was weird because she was wetter than an otter's pocket. Anyway, we carried on seeing each other after that for a year or so and sex got better but only just. Story 4. I played in a really metal band when I was 16. Me and this girl were dating and she hinted at times she wanted to have sex. We were at band practice and a handful of the guys were smoking pot and decided to take a break and go throw a football at a park across the road. I tell my bandmates I'm a chill in the basement with her because I frankly didn't want to throw a football. My drummer told me he had a monster box in there that had condoms in it. I laughed and my brother who played bass told me to make him proud. We laughed it off. We sit on the couch and watch the show 16 and Pregnant. She turns her head to me and said, "Don't you want to make your brother proud?" I jump up and run to the Monster Energy box. I grab some rubbers and put one on. I thought I ripped it so I took it off and put another on. Then I thought I ripped that one and put on another after the old ones fell on the floor. Then we start. It was only a few moments when the door opens and all my bandmates walk in on me having relations in my drummer's bed. He freaked out and I told them all to get out. We didn't get to finish. It was a really weird experience. Some of those guys began joking about my butt cheeks jiggling. Story 5. I was 15. It was after a high school football game where some kid picked a fight with me. It wasn't a complete beat down, but I didn't win the fight. I had just started seeing a girl and I think she felt bad for me and didn't walk away when we got back to my place and I offered to show her the black light in my bedroom. About a minute into it I heard my sister opening the front door and we had to stop. That was more than enough time, though. Story 6. I promised I wouldn't risk having a kid until I had a job that paid enough for me to support one. I turned 18 and immediately got into construction. Where I'm at, you can support yourself off about $15 an hour if you aren't living in the big cities, or if you are fine with crackhead neighbors. That's off 40 hours. I was making 14 an hour and working 50 plus hours a week, so I called my friend, he called a girl, we had sex in the cab of his truck while he sat on the tailgate and had beer. He did not finish the first one before we were done. He shook his head and told us he was drinking at least 3 so we might as well keep trying. That man is gonna be the best man at my wedding next month. Story 7. I was 23 and I was in rare form. I went to a punk rock show that my friend invited me to. We were supposed to meet inside the venue but he was running late. So to kill some time I thought I should talk to some people. This girl sits next to me, I say hi, turns out we have some things in common and we have a great night. I give her a ride home, get her number and see her 2 days later at her house party at her house to celebrate her birthday. The party is going great, I just spent the night talking to her friends and not her so much. On my way out, she invites me up to her room to show me some pictures. I knew then it was going to happen and it did. Smile. The whole story was quick and unexpected. Story 8. Lost it to a girl vastly more experienced than I. Due to extreme pregnancy fears, I had already had oral and anal sex with girls before I had vaginal intercourse. This girl, Megan, had a crush on me and I was in between girlfriends at the time. As I later learned, Megan had only been with one guy before, but they had had sex a lot while they were together. Due to being a teenager in a small town, there weren't a lot of opportunities for us to be alone anywhere where sex could reasonably occur. One Friday night my house was empty and she had told her mother she was going to the football game, so she had an excuse to be in town for a few hours. We met, went back to my house, and fooled around for a while. Finally we get to the sex part. I get the condom on, manage 2 thrusts and blow my load. Not knowing what else to do, I proceed to go down on her for about 20 minutes before she asks me to stop. We get dressed, I walk her back to the high school so she could wait to be picked up. We have extremely awkward small talk. We never got together after that and she told everyone that would listen about my performance. 2/10, but did have sex. Story 9. My family was taking our annual summer trip to the lake. I was like, Mom and Dad, please let me bring my boyfriend. They were like, okay, but you're not allowed to have sex with him while we're there and he's sleeping in another room. I was like, you guys, don't even worry, we've never even had sex. Which was true, so they let me bring my boyfriend to the lake under these conditions. Soon as we got to the lake, I was like, hey boyfriend, let's go on a hike. I took him into the woods and we had sex as soon as we were out of my parents' sight. Well, that was it for today. Thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe. Check out my other spicy content.